Hello, 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 and welcome to another live ukulele lesson with me, Matt Stead. I've got my tongue in a twist already. I hope you're all keeping well and staying warm where you are. Let's have a weather check-in. 34 degrees in North. Oh, that's about half a degree Celsius, so pretty much freezing out there, even in California. My goodness. Nippy in Yorkshire, I bet. I think you've got an amber weather warning coming up, haven't you, Pam, for the weekend up your way? Hi, Fran. Hi, Karen. 4 degrees bone freezing in Maryland. And hello from Milwaukee. Hi, Lisa. Hope you're all doing well. So today we're going to learn a lovely, lovely fiddle tune. Because everyone so enjoyed the last one we did where we looked at the Blackest Crow. Snow and 9 degrees. 9 degrees Fahrenheit, that's really cold, isn't it? I don't know what that is in Celsius, but I know it's super cold. So yeah, everyone enjoyed doing the fiddle tune last time so much, the Blackest Crow. I thought what we'd do is we'd have a go at another fiddle tune. So what I did is I watched a few mandolin versions of some fiddle tunes because I've been working on mandolin myself and worked out what I thought would go well with ukulele crossing it over. And this one just seemed to work really nicely. It's a really memorable melody and it's relatively easy to play. Loads of fun. So just like last week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down into two. We're going to take it really nice and slowly. Hi Laurie, good to see you. We've got a new student. Huzzah! Feel free to ask any questions, Laurie, and anyone else as you go along. Oh, that's super chilly, Karen. Just warmer than yesterday. Feel free to ask any questions as we go along. Sometimes I might have forgotten to tell you something, and I'm here to help basically. So ask along as we go, and that goes for everyone. Try and make sure you've got your live chat on. So we're going to break it down into two sections. First of all, I'm going to teach you the melody on its own, which of course really is all a fiddle player would play, because fiddle, violin, is mostly a melody instrument. You can play chords on it, but it's almost impossible. You have to kind of bow 3 strings, which is really tricky. And likewise, mandolin, you can play chords as well, but it's largely used as a melodic instrument. So we'll do all of the melody first, but then what we're going to do is what we can do on ukulele, which we can't do on some instruments, is we can create beautiful fingerstyle chord melody arrangements where we do the chords and the melody at the same time. And that's what we're going to look at in the second part of the lesson. Before we get onto that, just to let you know that I've planned the next lesson out already, and we're going to do something completely different for the next one. We're going to have a look at 12th Street Rag, and we're going to have loads of fun mastering the split strum. So this is going to be in a fortnight's time, Wednesday 5th of February at 3:30. The split strum is that kind of... all that sort of stuff. Kind of a little bit Formby-esque where you get this real, if I slow it down. Da, 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 da. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach you the split strum, which you can use on all sorts of songs. Formby, Hawaiian music, it's used in blues, all sorts of stuff. And then I'm going to teach you how to play the 12th Street Rag. We're going to look at all the chords and I'll show you how to use the split strum. So I think that's going to be loads and loads of fun. That's going to be in 2 weeks' time, something a little bit different. Oh no, oh that's cool. You can go for it, Victoria. Hopefully your dog won't mind. Maybe he or she will howl along. Just a reminder, there is a new Beatles lesson up on the website now. Some of you have probably already seen it. You might have already had a go at it. This is a fingerstyle version of Yesterday that I worked on. Took me quite a while because I wanted it to work really well on ukulele, and it does now, which is great. So that's on the Beatles course. You'll find that on my website, mattsteadukulele.com. And there's also a new play along. Well, it's been up there for about a week or so, which is From the Morning by Nick Drake, which you might enjoy as well. So if we get time at the end, I'll talk to you about the cruise or cruises and the Spanish retreat as well, which hopefully will be really, really exciting and fun. But let's have a look at Red Haired Boy. I'll do a very kind of slow chord melody version, just so you can get an idea of how it works when we get there. I won't bring it on screen quite yet, just so you can see what's happening with my fingers. And I will go nice and slow as well. Oh, and by the way, Karen says yesterday sounds great on the baritone, and I've seen her video and I quite agree. Here we go then. So this is the kind of chord melody version of Red Haired Boy played nice and slow. Whoops, I'll start that again. Right, here we go, nice and slow, I promise, then I went fast. I've lost where I am. Hang on a second, guys. Hang on. I need to turn the page and I can turn it quick enough. Sorry, guys. Here we go. There we go. Well, that was embarrassing. I did a classic mistake and let my error be a learning lesson for you guys. I decided, rather than turning the page, because this one goes across 2 pages, rather than turning the page from this page to this one, I thought, I know this off by heart. I don't need to turn the page. I'll remember how to play it. Turns out I don't know it off by heart. I couldn't remember how it goes. So let that be a lesson to you. Make sure you pause and turn the page properly. How embarrassing. If I ever learn that one on stage, I have to learn it properly off by heart, because there's no stopping as I turn pages on stage at all. What an embarrassment. Oh my goodness. Right, hopefully that's my mistakes out of the way, and if I can make mistakes, you can make mistakes, right? So there we go. All right, let's have a look at what's happening with the song first. And what I might do is just get you strumming some chords so you can get a feel of it, and perhaps I'll whistle or hum the melody behind it. Now, there's a couple of minor errors in the sheet which I need to correct. You can either do it yourself on your sheets now, it would be easy peasy lemon squeezy, or I'm going to redo just a couple of tiny changes and put them back on the website, hopefully tomorrow. So if you hang on till tomorrow, you'll have the full version with the changes. It's only a tiny thing anyway. The first is kind of interesting, actually. So if you have a look at the time signature and the key signature even more at the start, you'll see that we're in common time, and we've got a flat next to the treble clef. So that suggests we're in the key of F. Now, interestingly, this song, the version that I learnt it from in mandolin and violin, was in the key of F, so that flat would have been there. But then what I did is I actually transposed it in Sibelius. I took it up a key to the key of G, because I think on ukulele it makes a lot more sense in the key of G, because you can get a lot of these notes fall beautifully in a G major chord more easily than they do in an F major. So I changed it to the key of G. Unfortunately, I didn't clock the fact that Sibelius didn't change the key signature next to the treble clef. So it's a tiny thing. That flat should be a sharp. Doesn't really matter if you're not sight reading. The tablature is all correct. And then the only other little one that I'm just going to, again, you can change it on your sheets quickly or just wait until tomorrow when I've made the change. The third chord on the second line is a D minor. And that is important because we're going to strum this in a minute. So just know that on measure 8, that's the second measure over on the second line, where it says D, just put a little M next to it. That one should be a D minor. So we're in the key of G then. G is going to be our one chord where we set off from. And you'll notice that like a lot of fiddle tunes, old time and bluegrass tunes, the chord is largely based on the 1, the 4 and the 5 chords in the key of G. That means G major, and then we can count up G, A, B, C is the 4 chord, D is the 5 chord. And if you have a quick scan through, you'll see that most of the piece is based on those 2 chords. Those 3 chords, I should say. We also have an F, which would normally be an F sharp in the key of G, but this song uses something called mixolydian mode. I won't go into it in too much detail, but just know that that F is normally an F sharp in the key of G, but we've got a normal F major, which is quite a bluesy thing to do. And blues had quite a big influence on early hillbilly and old time music. So it's quite interesting that they're using that. So really, really simple chords. We also have a D minor in, which gives the piece a real nice moodiness, which is lovely. So what we're going to do before anything else is just strum through. Let's just strum an up and down strum, really simple, and see if you can follow the timing. Part of the reason for getting this is it helps you with the timing when we come to play the melody and the chords. So a couple of things to watch out for. Let's just try the first 8 measures first. This song's an A-A-B-A format. That just means 2 A sections for 8 measures, then a B section, then back to an A section. So the first 8 measures, the only thing you need to really watch out is that that C chord that comes in on the second measure is only halfway through the measure. So at the start, you count 4 Gs, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you count 2 more Gs, 1, 2, and 2 Cs. All right. So if I play that the first 8 measures, it will sound like this: 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Should we give that a go? Let's give it a go. Join in with me after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, C. G, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, C. G and F and D minor. Fantastic. Let's try it with me humming the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Fantastic. Next section, starting measure 8, is exactly the same, only instead of a D minor at the end with all those tricky chords at the end, it just goes to a G. Let's try it. You can strum along with me from measure 9 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Fantastic. Well done, guys. Let's have a look at the second section. This is going from measure 17 now, back here. Can you see those kind of thick, those 2 lines coming down at the end of measure 16? Kind of just back to here. That means that we're entering a new section. Wherever you get those double bar lines, it means it's a new section. So here we're going to the B section, and we're going to play an F chord now, just your bog standard F chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. Now the end of this you'll recognise from the verse. When we get to this G chord, it's similar to what we do in the verse. We call it a kind of tagline. So after that F, we get G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, C, then G and F, D minor. So that bit is just like the second half of the A section. Let's give it a go from this F here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I give you a proper count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. Yeah, fantastic. And then another A section. 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Brilliant. Well done, everyone. Let me know how you got on with that. It's quite awkward in places, isn't it, to count, because you've got those 2 chords per measure, which can be a little bit tricky to get used to. It happens in a lot of old time music. It took me quite a while when I first got into bluegrass and old time music. I used to like playing a lot of clawhammer ukulele to get used to these unusual key changes. I think it comes back to the fiddle being quite a quick instrument. Fiddle tunes in the traditional sense, from Scotch-Irish music going over to the Appalachian Mountains, they used to be really fast, so the chord changes come thick and fast as well to accommodate that. So it takes a bit of getting used to, but you'll have it. Now, if you know the piece as well, you might notice that we're doing a few less melody notes as well. So I've simplified this from the fiddle version, just because if we play it at full tempo with all of the notes from the fiddle version, it sounds too complex for our ears and for our fingers to cope with. It just is too busy for the ukulele. It doesn't work, so I've simplified it slightly just so you can see. Oh, great question, Laurie. So Laurie's just asking, what do I mean by an A section? So you know how in pop music we think of verses and choruses? In old time music, and the same goes for a lot of the blues and a lot of jazz music, they used to call what we would think of as the verses an A section. So an A section is just a verse in effect. And then the chorus they would call the B section, or sometimes the bridge. So this song, we call it an A, B, A format. So in effect, you've got verse, verse, bridge, verse, or verse, verse, chorus, verse, if you like. It was the most popular format for jazz tunes, but also for bluegrass and old time music as well. So verse, verse, chorus, verse, you can think of it as, or A, B, A. And they tended to be divided in 8 measure sections, so 8 bars along. And you can see it here because we've got the first 8 bars, which sound like this. Da 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 da. So that's your first 8 bars, and then we've got another 8 bars of almost the same thing. Da 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 da. Then we've got the B section starting here. Da 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 da. And then finally another A section to finish off. Da 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 da. There we go. So A, B, A format, verse, verse, bridge, verse, or verse, verse, chorus, verse. So let's have a look at this brilliant, beautiful melody. So what I've done is I've done the basic melody, slightly simplified, But what I have done is similar to last live lesson, I've included some slides and some hammer-ons because that gives you the feel of a fiddle tune, which I think is really important. And a couple of the slides, we've got those lovely slides where we start on, we have one open string and another string is sliding up to the target note. So it sounds really, really nice. So let's take a look then. Obviously you can zoom in on your version or on this one if you can zoom in on your screen to see the tablature, but I'll talk you through it as we go as well. So the start of the melody, we're starting on the C string, 2nd fret here for this D note. Let me come in over here so you can see how I'm picking, just picking with my thumb of the string going down. We're going to keep it simple in terms of your picking hands this week. So D note here, that's your 2. Open E, that's the 0. Then we've got something interesting here. The melody note is this G note here, 3rd fret of the E string. But what we're going to do is we're going to slide into that, and we're also going to hit the C string at the same time. Can you see that? On the very first measure, you've got that 0 0, and then an upwards kind of diagonal slide symbol, and then we've got the 3. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit the open C string. You're going to put your finger roughly on either the 1st or the 2nd fret. Now it doesn't matter which you start from. It says to start from 0, but generally when we've got one of these almost like a grace note slides, we tend to start a bit closer. So I might start on this 2 here. So I'm going to strum the middle 2 strings, and then I'm going to slide into that 3rd fret. Notice I'm using my 1st finger because I can really control that. I like to really stop here. There we go. Like this. So it's a really, really kind of nice way to add a little bit of kind of personality to this bit. So if I do that first measure in slow motion, I have. See how that's working? So the basic melody is. But what we're going to do is we're going to slide in to that G note. Isn't that lovely? Let me know if you've got any questions with that, or let me know how you get on with that. It might take a fair bit of practice to perfect that. But the reason it's so lovely is we've got a slide into the G note, but we're also pairing up with this lovely C note, and they go together really well because they're a 5th apart. And it just sounds really great. It's a mandolin technique. So one last time, that first measure will be. And then we finish that phrase on the first note of the next measure. Let's try that really slowly after 4, 2, 3, 4. That's it. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. There we go. So it gives us that nice kind of fiddle opening, which I love. Oh, thanks, Shell. Yeah, I kind of tend to like writing everything out without loads of symbols on, you know, da capo and da segno and all that, and all the repeats, because it just makes it look really confusing, doesn't it? And you're having to think, where do I go back? Whereas if you write it all out in one, it's a lot easier. But yeah, thanks, Shell. So let's have a look at the second measure then, where this time instead of a slide we've got a hammer on. So can you see that 2, 3? So in this case what we're going to do is we're going to hammer on from the 2nd fret to the 3rd fret. So you can use any fingers here. You could use your 1st and 2nd. I like to use 2nd and 3rd. And notice I'm only picking once, but the 2nd note comes by that ring finger hammering onto the string. Now the key thing here with hammering onto the string is that you have the courage of your convictions. You need to strike relatively firmly, but don't snatch it. The temptation is this, where you try and go to it too quickly. Let that B note, the 2 sound first, and then come down really hard and firm with that ring finger. Okay. If you find that really tricky, just play them as 2 separate notes like this. Okay, fantastic. Then we go up to this high D note up here, this 5, and then a high E note up here at 7. Okay. And again, notice I've reset my fingers there. You could take your little finger up, but I've just reset to make it easier. Then we've got another one of these slides. This time it's from 2 to 5 on the A string, whilst the E string rings out. It sounds a little bit messy on its own, but in the context of the song, it's really lovely. Gives you a uke almost like a banjo quality. So put your finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, strum the bottom 2 strings physically, and move up to the 5th fret. Again, I'm using my 1st finger because I find it really easy to control. And then we come back to 2 and 3 for the end of that phrase. Okay, so if I go from the 2-3 hammer on in measure 3 really slowly, it will sound like this. Let's try that together. Come in after, let's come in after 2, 3. 2, 3. Fabulous. Let's try it from the top then. Let's go from the very first measure, nice and slowly. 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. That's coming together really nicely, isn't it? Again, if you're not able to do that live in the lesson, I always use this catchphrase, you've got the rest of your life to perfect that. So take your time and you'll get this. Just be patient with yourself, go at your own speed. And always, I think if something's difficult, I always learn it below tempo, because then all you need to do then is just practice and practice a little bit each day, and you can push it up to tempo, so you'll be absolutely fine. So that's the kind of opening 2 phrases, if you like. We ended on the 1, 2, 3, the 4th measure, where we've got that 3 underneath the F chord. That's the C note. Okay, so next bit, we've got another of those 2 3s. Look, another hammer on. That's a B to a C. Exactly the same as before, no change at all. And then we reach up to 5 for this high D. Back to G for this note here. That's the 3. And then the last measure over here, just all crotchets. So all simple notes, one after another. G, that's 3. Off on the A string. B, 2nd fret. Back to G. Open A on the A string. G on the E string. That's your 3. And then 2 1s here. F chords. Okay. So if I go from the 2 3, underneath the measure where it says F, it will sound like this. Let's give that a go together. So from the 2 3, coming up after 1 2. 1 2. Fantastic. Now let's be super brave. Let's try the whole of the first 8 measures. Now, believe it or not, if you can do this, you've got almost 3/4 of the song, because the A section, as we talked about at the start, it's repeated 3 times with a couple of little variations, but you've basically got it. So don't worry that we've only done 8 measures. You've got most of the song already. Let's have a go from the top then, really slowly. 2 3 4. 2 3. 5 7. another hammer on 2, 3, that's B, C. 5, back to the 3. Last measure of the first line. First measure of the next line. And we rest on this note. Fantastic, there we go. All right, so that's your first 8 measures of the melody. And like I said, let's have a look at the next 8 measures, but you'll see that the start of it is exactly the same as what you just played. So if we go from the double bar lines on measure 9, see between measures 8 and 9, you've got those double bar lines. So we're looking at the second G chord along on this line. Notice that we've got exactly the same thing again. So we start with this D, E, this 2, 0. Slide into 3. Then we've got the hammer on, it's exactly the same before. 5, 7. Slide 2 to 5. 2, 3. Then this is the next bit changes. If we go from the last 2 notes of this line, the 2, 3, that starts relatively straightforward. We've got 2, 3. Up to 5, that's a high D. And then right up to 10, I like to use my little finger up here. And then we come back, 10, 7. We've got another of the slides, look, playing 2 strings. This time it's 3 to 5. Okay. And then it ends just like the last one did. Apart from this note here, which just gives it a really nice kind of resolution to the G chord, which is really sweet, isn't it? Let me try that section then. So we're going to go from measure 9, that's after your double bar line on this line, and let's play that really, really slowly. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, hammer on. 5, 7. 2, 5, slide. Back to 2. 3. 2, 3. Next line. 5, 10. Bit of a rest on these. 10, 7. Slide 3 to 5. Back to 3. And then the last few notes. Fantastic, isn't that lovely? I love that F sharp at the end. It works because we're in the key of G, and the key of G has 1 sharp in it, and it's that F sharp. So it works, but it has a kind of a nice bluesy feel, and then resolution to the G note, which is really fantastic. Let me know how you got on with that, guys. Give us a ping in the comments. And again, I can't say this enough. If you haven't got it today, you can spend as much time on this as you like. It's all about learning how to do stuff, getting the technicalities of slides and hammer-ons and things like that, and how the chord melody works, and then you take it away and work on it. All right. So let's just have a look at the next section then, from measure 13, 14, 15, 16. We actually stopped before those 2 notes, before the double the double measure lines, because they belong to the next phrase. So we're going to start the next phrase on the 5 and 7 before the double lines over here. So this is going to what we call the B section, or the bridge here, and we just start 5, 7. This is a hammer on. So again, put 1 finger on 5 ready. And then really hammer on nice and hard into that 7th fret. It's a bit harder than the one down here because the fret's getting smaller. So you've got to be quite accurate. Okay. Like that. So you get it really, really accurate and forceful. Karen's just said she can't always feel where the slides end. Yeah, I know what you mean, Karen, because they're quite big slides. You can practice them without looking. What I would do is, say you're doing the 2 to 5 slide down here on measure 3, the 2 to 5 one. What I would do is just spend time, just literally, just doing that slide. I actually went slightly overshot it when I did my demo video, which went horribly wrong at the start. So I need to practice that more as well, because it's finding that note and stopping at the right place. Try it by actually looking at what you're doing first. So you look down at the uke, really stopping in the right place. And then see if you can look away. I didn't do it then, I looked at it, didn't I? Oh, I got one. And do it enough times that you can look at somewhere else and do it at the same time, and that's when you know you've got it. And if you practice all of those, the different slides in this song, I think there's only 2 main slides and then a couple of different hammer-ons, your fingers will build up that muscle memory, so it'll be easier to use. And yeah, Karen says she finds slides different, easier to do on some ukes than others. Absolutely. It's also I don't actually use this argument myself, because I have ukulele acquisition syndrome. Even though I've been playing 25 years, I still like buying new ukuleles. I like shiny new things, and I like a variety of ukuleles. But there is an argument. People like Jake Shimabukuro have said in the past, there's an argument for sticking to one ukulele, because every ukulele, the fret, the size of the frets and the size of the uke is going to be slightly different. Even within a tenor scale, they're not always exactly the same scale, so the frets are going to be slightly closer together or apart. And then, of course, if you're changing between soprano, concert and tenor, you're going to have a lot of changes. So there is an argument of using one size, and some people even argue about using specifically one ukulele, because you get used to the nut width, the string types, the frets and everything. I can't do that because I love my ukes too much, and I love swapping them around, and they're a family, and I like trying all the different sounds. But just something to think about. And slides will be easier on some ukes than others as well, because of the string height, the type of strings and things like that, and even the type of frets. If you've got really big jumbo frets on your uke, the actual metal frets, sometimes they're smoother and easier to slide over than the thinner frets. So just something to think about. So back to it then, we're going to drop back in, as I said, down here on 5 and 7, where we've got this hammer on. Again, make sure you've got one finger on the 5th fret, and then hammer on nice and firmly onto that 7th fret. Okay. Then we just come back down the scale. We've got this F note here, at 8, back to 7, back to 5. And then right at the end, we've got these 2 high notes, G and F, that's 10-8. And then we come back down again, 7-5-3, that's E, D, C. And another C at the end, all right? And then down here, measure 20, we've got another hammer on 2 to 3. Again, have your one finger ready. And then hammer on, courage of your convictions, firm hammer on right in the centre of the fret. Then we go up to 5, back to G on the E string, that's 3, another one, off 2 on the A string, back to that G note, 3, open A, another G, and then down to 2 Fs, that's your ones. Okay, fantastic. Let me play that slowly then from the hammer on 5 to 7. So I'm going from measure 16, the end of measure 16. All right, if you feel up to it, have a go at playing along with me. Otherwise, just have a listen for now and you'll hear how the B section goes. So 5 to 7. Okay, 1, 2. Let's try it one more time. I go a bit slower this time. 1, 2. 10-8. 7-5-3. Another 3. Hammer on 2 to 3. 5, 3. 3 off 2. 3. Down to the 1. There we go. Fantastic. Really, really good. So let's have a look. Karen's just asking whether she wonders if sliding's easier on some strings on a radius fretboard. Weirdly, Karen, I actually find the opposite. It's just purely because on a radius fretboard, where you've got the fretboards curved to match your finger, so the fretboard has this shape rather than being flat like that. The reason I find it awkward is sometimes on a radius fretboard, if I slide on the A string, sometimes the A string will drop off the fretboard if I'm not careful, if I don't keep pushing straight down. If I bend, it can drop off. But that's a personal thing. Bar chords I find a lot easier on radius fretboards for sure, though, so worth exploring. So let's just have a look at the last bit. Well, guess what? You already know how to do this because you've already done it. So let's just try the final A section, the final verse, if you like, starting at the start of the second page. Nice and slowly. We've got this D, E, 2, 0. Slide into 3. Back to 3. 2, 3, hammer on, that's B, C. 5, 7. That's D, E. And then slide 2 to 5, back to 2, and then 3, that's a C. And then at the end of that top line, 2, 3, up to 5, high D, up to 10, high G, another one, 7, slide 3 to 5, back to 3, and then the last two measures. Yeah, brilliant. So what I want to do now then, guys, just before we take a quick 5-minute break, and I'll see how you're getting on and take questions. Let's try the whole piece from the top. We'll go really nice and slowly. If you get lost, doesn't matter. You could even strum along if you're not quite ready to hit the melody notes. But give it your best shot, and then I'll stop and take any questions, and I'll show you how the chord melody works. But let's just try it nice and slowly from the top. I'm going to pause to flip the page, so there will be a slight gap after this F. No, this 1 down here. Although it's for a whole measure, so I might have time. We'll see if we can do it. I won't try doing it off by heart like I did at the start, because I'll only go wrong. I'll come in on close camera as well, so you can follow my fingers. Here we go, from the start then. Come in after 3, 4. 3, 4. Hammer on 2 to 3. 5, 7. I forgot the slide there, but keep going, hammer on. 5, 3. 3. Start the next line. Resolve to that nice F. Good. Next section, next A section. Hammer on 2 to 3. 5, 7. Slide 2 to 5. Yeah, lovely. Last 2 notes of the second line. Then 5, 10. Right way up here. Slide 3 to 5. And then the last few notes of that section. And then we go up to 5, 7, hammer on the A string. Up to A. 5, 10, 8. 7, 5, 3, 3. Hammer on 2 to 3. 5. And we're going to go to the next page. Should have had my mouse ready. Here we go. Hammer on. Slide 2 to 5. Last 2 notes of that line. 5, up to 10, 10, 7, slide 3 to 5. Good. Last few notes. Yeah, there we go. Really good. Fantastic. So that's our lovely melody. Now you don't have to go super fast on this. I would say for this purpose, because we've left out some of the notes, I would go about this tempo eventually. So not crazy fast, but it might take a bit of time to kind of build up to that tempo. As I say, take it nice and slowly. So what we're going to do next is we're going to have a look at the chord melody version. So that's where we put chords and melody together at the same time. Excuse me, dry throat. So you get the sound of the chords. Ba, 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 and you get the sound of the melody. When you put them together, you get a really nice chord melody. See how you can kind of hear the chords and the melody coming out at the same time, which is really, really nice. Yeah, were your concentration levels at peak maximum, Fran? Mine were. Yeah, don't worry. Just shake it off and have a relax. If you've got your cup of coffee, have a sip of coffee and just chill for a minute, and before we look at the next bit. Oh, by the way, just in case anyone's joined me, just let me remind you that we're back next live lesson. We're going to do 12th Street Rag, and we're going to learn the really, really cool split strum technique. All that stuff, and all the cool kind of... all that good stuff for the 12th Street Rag. It's going to be so much fun. So that's going to be Wednesday 5th of February at 3:30. Can't wait for that one. It's going to be great. Don't forget the Beatles course continues on the website. I'm working on I Saw Her Standing There is going to be the next one. We're going to do a chord version of that. Canacapella Mondays is back next Monday with protest songs we're going to do, plus your People's Choice. And also, don't forget, we've got our play along with Matt. And on the Facebook page, congratulations to Rima and who is the other one? I forgot now. Oh, Richard, for winning the Uke Challenge this month. So your badges and straps are on the way. And we've got a new challenge where you can win a ukulele strap and a set of my special badges as well. So check that all out on the Facebook page and on the website. If you go to Learn Ukulele with Matt, click more and you'll find Uke challenges there that you can take part in. So loads of fun. Also on the Facebook page, you'll hear about my Spanish adventure, which I'm really excited about. In May, I'm going to be teaching in the beautiful Andalusian village of Gauchin, or Gaucin. I'm never quite sure how to pronounce it. It's being run by Matt Parkin of the Awesome Ukulele Academy. Me and Matt are going to share teaching duties in sunny Spain. So that's going to be in May. And all the details, there's a link from the Facebook page. So check it out if you can. That's going to be loads of fun. And of course the cruise as well. We're working on a cruise for next year. So if you missed out this year, we are going to have another one next year, which is going to be super exciting as well. So loads of stuff to come. If the best thing to do is just check out Facebook or my website, mattsteadukulele.com, where you find all my courses, 10 different courses, and loads, literally hundreds of arrangements. We did our 100th Canacapella last night as well, which is good. Not last night, night before. Or if you subscribe to my mailing list, it will drop into your email box everything that's going on as well. So yeah, exciting, loads of exciting stuff to come. It's going to be a mad year because we've got the cruise, and then we've got the summer ukulele retreat, and we've got Peter Luongo coming, who's going to be amazing. He taught James Hill how to play. We've also got Sam Muir, our resident tutor, the brilliant Lester T. Webb, otherwise known as Matt Hicks. And who else have we got? Of course, we've got Jeff Peterson coming from Hawaii as well, which is going to be amazing. So much to look forward to. It's going to be great. Okay, so let's have a look at this chord melody version then. So what we've got to do when we do chord melody is we've got to strum a chord in a particular place, and I've tended to put the chords either at the start of the measure or where we have a chord coming in halfway through the measure, like the C chord in the second measure. So we still get the sound of the chords, but we get the sound of the melody coming through as well. So what we do, in effect, as arrangers, and you can do this yourself if you're interested, is you find the melody note. The first melody note was this one, wasn't it? The first melody goes like this. Okay. And what we do is we play the chords that you would normally strum at that point. G for this one. Da, 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 da. And we strum down with our thumb until we hit the melody note. Where's the melody note in this G chord? It's on this second fret here, isn't it? So you get a little hint of a chord. There's only 3 notes in a chord and we're hitting 2 of them, which is cool, like so. So you get the sound of the chord and the melody coming through. So that's the first one. Now you can actually finger a G chord like this, and we're going to do that later because it helps in a couple of places. Or you could just put your 2 fingers here. But what you do want to do, and this is really important, is make sure you dig in on the E string. Sorry, like so. It stops you accidentally playing it, which is really important. And it also means that this D note here on the C string comes through nice and clear. All right, so well worth doing. No worries, Fran, we'll see you again. It'll be up later for a replay as well if you want to, and it'll be in the archive, so no worries, no worries. So that means at the start of the first measure, we're going to hit the 2 strings like this. Then the open E melody note. Then we're going to do the slide exactly as we did the first time. Just sliding into that 5th fret. Open A. And then if we have a look at the chord at the start of the second measure, it's a G chord again. But the reason we stop on this G note, the 3rd fret of the E string, is because that's what the melody note is, that G note there. So if you put that together, we have this. Isn't that cool? You ready? Here, that G note coming above all others, which is really beautiful. So that's the process, and you'll see that working for all of this. So when we go to the C chord, normally we would play a C chord like this, wouldn't we? 3rd fret of the A string. But the melody note at that point was this B note, this 2. So it starts with this B note. So what we need to do is we need to play the rest of a C chord. But instead of putting our finger here, we hit this note here, 2nd fret of the A string. And then what you can do is you can hammer onto that C. Can you see how I'm strumming all the way? And I get the sound of a C chord, but I also get the sound of the B, C notes like this. Okay. All right. So if I put the first 2 measures together, that will sound like this. Whoops, I'll do that again. And then that funny C, like so, yeah. And then the next one's kind of interesting because we've got a G chord, which would normally look like this, but the melody note, remember, is this high D at that point, isn't it? Because we've gone. So after we've done this, we need a G chord, but we need this high D note up here. So what I like to do is, just as I'm doing here, I actually reach with my little finger up to that 5th fret whilst holding down a G chord like so. Now, when you're doing that, keep this wrist as straight as possible. You don't want to crook it in an uncomfortable way. That will allow you to reach. Use the very right hand part of this little finger. You can use the side of it to squeeze into that fret. And the other thing that's really important, uke at the 45-degree angle. If I try doing this down here, look at that, it's going to really bend my wrist and it's really uncomfortable. Whereas lifting that uke up to 45 degrees means I can do it a lot more comfortably. The other thing you can do if you find that difficult is you can use your first two fingers like this on 2 and 3 and then reach up. And because you don't have this finger down on the 2nd fret, it makes it easier to reach. I kind of prefer to think G chord and little finger, but if you find this more comfortable, that's absolutely fine as well. All right, so in close camera, that will look like this or this. Then I go up to the 7th fret. I like to use my pinky, my little finger, because it's there. Then we've got the same as before, slide 2 to 5, back to 2. And then we've got this note at the end, because that's the note that the melody ends on. There, isn't it? So we're going to play an F chord, because that's the chord at that point, but we're also going to add the finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. Can either use your ring or your little finger, like that. Okay, so now we've got the chords and the melody. It should sound something like this if I go slowly from the start. Isn't that nice with that F chord at the end? Let's all try that together really slowly. 2, 3, 4. Two to 3, but strum it. G with 5. 2 to 5. 2. And then F with the high C added. Really nice. And then we just keep going with that principle. We've got 2, 3 again on this string. G with that 5 added. Remember, if you prefer, you can do it like this. It's absolutely fine. And then just strum that chord, but just the top 3 strings. And again. Open A. Last chord of that line, a C, but we're adding this B note again. G up here. And then at the start of measure 7, the next part, we're doing a G chord, but we're making sure there's no finger on the A string. And the reason being that the melody goes A, G, F, F like this. So we need to hear that open A. And then notice that the next one is a D minor. So 1 F, top 3 strings, and then there's only one note different, but 1 D minor like that, which is really sweet. I'll play it from the 2, 3 on measure 1, 2, 3, 4. So after that F chord, I'll play the 2, 3 there, so you can follow it along with me really slowly. You can join in if you feel ready. If not, just watch it for now. So 1, 2. G with 5, just top 3. Open A, C, but with 2, G chord, F, but top 3, and D minor. Fantastic, really nice, guys. Let us know how you got on with that. Now we're doing some really tricky stuff, right? It's like, whoa, it's really, really tricky. So take your time, be gentle with yourself. Go below tempo. Don't worry if you don't get it straight away. Let's try those first 8 measures. If you're not ready yet, just use this as a watching exercise, okay? Remember, when you do this, the playback later on, if you come back to this lesson, you'll find it in the archive on ukulele lessons and then live lessons, and then in the archive there. The brilliant thing about watching it back is you can pause it and just watch this bit over and over to get it. That's the cool thing about watching the playbacks later. But let's try those first 8 measures and really kind of super slow. So 2, 3, 4. Partial G. C but 2nd fret. G with 5 added. 7. Slide 2 to 5. And then F with that C added. 2, 3. G with 5. Good. Just partial G, open it A, C major 7, G chord top 3 in that A note, and F chord, and then D minor chord. Yeah, superb, brilliant, really nice. I love that D minor at the end. It really kind of gives it a little bit of moodiness. You're almost not expecting it because it ends da da da. Just gives it a little bit of kind of melancholy at the end, which is really sweet, I think. Again, it feels like we haven't done much, but actually it feels like we've done a lot, doesn't it? But in terms of the chord melody, but again, you've pretty much done 3/4 of the song because we've got lots of repeats. So let's have a look at measure 9 now. We're going to start exactly as we did. Okay, so that partial G, just 0 2, open E, slide to 3, open A, partial G chord, and then that funny C chord 2 to 3 with a hammer on, exactly as before. G chord, little finger down on 5 if you can, or like this. 7th fret, slide 2 to 5, back to 2, and then F with that C chord added. Yeah, lovely. Then we've got another new bit here, 2 to 3, right at the end of this line, 2 to 3. Then we've got a G chord with that high D added again, that 5. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take that pinky, that little finger, right up to the 10th fret, and we're going to bar the 7th fret, like that. If you struggle with that, try doing a shorter bar and just strumming the bottom 3 like this, which will sometimes sound cleaner. All right. So from this 2 3 into that section, that will sound like this. See how I kind of just slid out of that shape up to 10 and into that. That's actually a G chord up the fretboard because we've taken a C chord, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. It's another place to play a G chord. Okay. Measure 14 starts with exactly the same thing again. Then you can just take away this finger and hit the bottom string physically for that 7. So you've got, and then just like before, slide 3 to 5, back to 3. And then this next bit's all based on a G chord. And this is where keeping the chord down on a particular bit of chord melody really helps. Because as you'll see, if I strum that first G, the next melody note, I need this note here, it's there. The next one I can just lift off the finger off the A string. And then I can put it back down on the 2nd fret here. And then I can do a partial G, like so. So if you're careful, there's not too much finger movement on this measure. I do this. Try that with me, just that measure with the G's. 2, 3, 4, G, G note. Whoops, I do it again. 3, 4. Lift off the A string, 2nd fret, and back to the partial G. Yeah, really good, really good. Let's try that 2nd A section then. So we're going to go measure 8, the 3rd measure over on the 2nd line, measure 8, up to the double bar line down here. Let's give it a go. So 2, 3, 4. Slide to 3, partial G, C chord 2 to 3, G chord with 5, up to 7, 2 to 5, and then F chord with the C note added, 2, 3, G with that 5, right up to 10 and 7, one more time, 7, slide 3 to 5, back to 3, G chord, G note, lift off the A string, F sharp note, and then partial G. Yeah, really cool, right? So it's one of those ones where it just seems impossible when you first look at it, and especially with those chords up the fretboard. But if you think about it, if you take it slow and really think about what you're doing, it's totally achievable. And again, start slow and then you can build up from there. The next bit, if anything, is actually a bit easier because the melody is a bit sparser, so you've got a little bit more time to think about what you're doing. So let's have a look. We're going to go from this 5/7 on measure 16, just before the double bar lines here, and I'll talk you through this next bit. So 5 to 7 as a hammer on. Then we're going to do this shape. It's exactly the same shape we did here for G, but we're going to do it 2 back, which makes sense because you've got G, G flat, F. All right, so we're going to do this shape. Take away your little finger and hit the bottom string. That'll give you the 7. And then we can just, sorry, I said that wrong. Strum it all the way. And then put a finger on 7. I was being daft. And then just drag that finger back to 5. Let everything else go for this lovely C with the high D melody in it. Okay. I'll do the start of that again from the 5/7. It will sound like this. Let's do that together. Come in after 1, 2. 1, 2. Fantastic, really, really nice. Then we'll go up to 10/8 up here. This is the last 2 notes up here. We're going to do an unusual shape here. First finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, little finger on the 7th fret of the A string. And it's a lovely C chord, but really drawn out. So you get a really low note here. And then 2 the same. And then a high E. Lovely C chord that. So that's your 0, 0, 5, 7. And then 5, 3. And then we finish that phrase back on another one of those Fs with the C. Really good, guys. Okay. Karen's just asking, middle finger never curled properly. It kind of collapses, lifting itself up. Yeah, Karen, what I would do for that is I've got a cool little exercise that you can do. 2 different exercises. I'll just show you quick, seeing as you asked, and this might help some other people. So to build up strength in the little finger and get it reaching, what I like to do is I'll start doing that caterpillar exercise where you do 1 finger per fret. And then I'll just put this 3rd little finger down on fret 4. The next time what I'm going to do, I'm going to reach it up to 5. And then if you can, see if you can reach it up to 6. Okay. And then you'll do exactly the same thing on the E string. That's really tricky for me, that one, because that's a real stretch, but it's a good chance. Thanks, Lisa. It's a good chance to practice those stretches, which is really good. Another one of my favourites is to do just play a G like this, and then add your finger to the 3rd fret, 5th fret, and then back to 3rd. You can get this bluesy finger. And then sometimes I do the same thing on a C7, look. Back to G. And then to finish the blues, D7, C7, and then you can do it again. So that's another really nice way to no worries, Shona. See you later. That's another really nice way to practice that little finger, because it is a stretch, isn't it? It's kind of an awkward stretch. Okay, fantastic. Let's finish off this chord melody then. So we got down to measure 20 down here, where we finished with our finger on this F chord with this C added. Okay. Then notice on the second measure, or measure 20 down there, we've got another hammer on 2 to 3. G chord with the high D added. And then this finger here on the G string. Partial G, open A. C major 7 really, because it's 0, 0, 0, 2. G note. And then G chord, but with this finger lifted off the A string again. And then F top 3 strings and D minor top 3 strings. Okay. Fantastic, like that. Oh, Karen said it's the middle finger. Oh, that's okay. So I would do the same thing, but make the gaps with your middle one, Karen. So, for instance, you might... I see, I can't quite reach that far, but it's a great exercise to just... Okay, and just see if you can try and not get it to collapse down. The other thing is just to play your G and play through the melody notes. And then practice lifting off. It's a good way to practice as well, to stop it collapsing. So that should help. If I think of anything else, Karen, I'll think of it. I'll have a go at the end as well, so you can have a try. All right then. So let's practice that B section. We're going to go from the 5/7 hammer on before the double bar lines down here. Okay, so it's measure 16 where it says 5/7. Let's do it all together really slowly. I'll explain it as we play it. So 5 to 7 after 1, 2. 1, 2. 8 and 5 bar. Back to 7. 5 and strum. 10, 8. Index finger 3, little finger 7. 5, 3. And then that F with that C added. 2 to 3, G with 5 added, G note here, partial G, open A, funny C, G with the A off, F top 3 and D minor top 3. Yeah, really good. Now we're basically there, guys, because if I flip the page, this is exactly the same as the second A section. So another G to the D, 0, 2, open E, slide to 3, G partial, C chord 2 to 3, G with a 5, little finger, slide 2 to 5, back to 2, and F with the finger added, 2, 3, hammer on, G with a 5, way up to 7 and 10, and again, back to 7, 3 to 5 slide, back to 3, G chord, G note, lift off the A, second fret, and then partial G to finish. Yeah, fantastic. Really, really good. Now, again, take your time with that. But let's have a go. If nothing else, this will give you a nice slow version without me making loads of errors like I did in the play along at the start. So what we'll do is we'll try the whole of that chord melody. Let's just give it our best. Might be a slight pause again when I get to this D minor, because I will flip it. If I try and do it from memory, I'll go wrong again. All right, so let's try it all together. If you don't feel quite ready to do it yet, just use this as a bit of a demo and see if you can work out what's happening with the fingers. All right, so after 4, 2, 3, 4. Second line, D minor. next section. Hammer on. G with 5. Slide. F with C. 2, 3 right at the end. G. Up to 10 and 7. Slide. G chord. Lift up. And 5 to 7. F chord. 7. 5 strummed. 10, 8. 7 and 3. F with C added. Hammer on. G with 5. G lifted up. F and D minor. Then we're going to flip to the last page. So we're going to do that partial G again. 2 to 3 and 5. Slide. F with C. 2 to 3. G with 5. Up to 7. 3 to 5 and G. There we go. Fantastic. Well done, guys. And let me just before we finish off, I'll take any questions as well. So it can be anything ukulele related as well. Doesn't have to be this song. But let me just try playing that a little bit more up tempo. Again, I'll try and flip the page when I get there, but it might be a slight pause as I do it. All right. So from the top, a little bit faster tempo will look and sound something like this. Section. It's a cool little fun arrangement, isn't it? Quite a lot to learn there, quite a lot to think about. I think that was a lot trickier than Blackest Crow, even though the Blackest Crow was in the key of D, because it travels way up the fretboard. But notice I tried to keep as much of the melody notes on the A string as possible, so it's a slightly higher pitched arrangement than what we did in the Blackest Crow in the key of D. So let me know how you got on with that. Let me know if you've got any questions at all. I'm always here to help, and I'll stick around for a few minutes as well just to see if there's any questions whatsoever with that one. As I say, next live lesson we're going to do something completely different, and we're going to have a look at 12th Street Rag. We're going to do that really fun split strum. I'm going to break it down into little tiny kind of one strum at a time and make it really simple for you, and we'll go really slow, and then eventually you can go really fast and have loads of fun with that, which will be great. I'll make those changes to this one where I just need to put the sharp in at the top here, and also just change that D to a D minor. I'll try and get that done tomorrow and put the corrected sheets online for you guys as well, so you've got them. But if not, just scribble a sharp in and pop that D to a D minor. And don't forget, back on Monday with another Can a Cappella, which I'm really, really enjoying. I always do. Monday nights are my favourite day of the week. It's just so much fun. So join me with that for lots of playing by ear and doing all sorts of fun stuff. And don't forget to check out yesterday, the chord melody in the fingerstyle. In the Beatles course, we're going to do that fingerstyle. And play along, beautiful song by Nick Drake from the morning as well. That's on the play along section. You'll find all this stuff at the website mattsteadukulele.com. Oh, massive scribbles. Well done. That's great though. I love that. I don't know if you remember, a couple of weeks ago I showed you my Can a Cappella notes by accident because I put my iPad up on screen rather than using the one I normally do. So you've kind of seen my stuff has scratches and scribbles all over it, and I think that's a good thing. It's really good to make notes of what you're doing and so you understand, and of course, like you say, you can always come back and watch it as many times as well. So thanks, Victoria. Oh yes, you just reminded me, give us a thumbs up on YouTube if you can. It helps with the algorithms, and if you can, just spread the word. That's the most amazing thing you can do for me, and you guys do that all the time. It's really heartwarming when I'm on a Facebook page and someone's asking for a teacher and you guys say, check out Matt, and it's like, yay. It's just the best thing in the world. So I do notice, and it means the world to me. So thanks, guys. If you know anyone that's interested in learning or wants to step up from beginners, get them to check out the website. It's all on there. Right, I think I'm probably going to head off in just a minute in case there's any questions, because that was quite a long one, wasn't it? I didn't realise quite how long that would take us to go through all the details. So it's a bit, I hope some of you are still with me. Lots of coffee, hopefully, so sees you through. So yeah, fantastic. So I'll be back on Monday with another Can a Cappella. Don't forget to check out that Spanish adventure if you can, the awesome ukulele adventure in Andalusia. It's going to be loads of fun, and I'll have more news on the cruise next year as well coming up shortly. So just kind of ironing out details, and Donna's doing a lot of hard work behind the scenes, working out where we're going to go and what we're going to do. So fantastic. So oh, no worries, Laurie. Remember, you've always got the beginners course on the website where you can take it a step at a time. So might have been quite intense today, but that's all right. Though you can watch it back slowly, have another go, take as long as you want. It's really, really important. And yeah, get on that beginners course. I think you might already be, but if not, check it out. That'll go through nice and sequentially for you. Thanks, guys. Thank you. I can tell you've all been concentrating hard because I'm seeing all your comments for it come through now, whereas before it's really quiet. But don't worry, I'm not offended. It's because you're all listening and working out the song, which is really brilliant, which is what we all want as well. So fantastic. All right, guys, well, take care. I'll see you on Monday for Can a Cappella, and I'll see you in 2 weeks for the next live lesson. Take care, everyone. Bye. Bye.